We're going to give you guys a quick tour of our Texas garden in zone 9B. It's the end of May. We've had some really good successes with some crops. We've had some, y'all stick around. I'm going to tell you guys all about it. In case you guys hadn't figured it out yet, we're in the cucumber patch. So we've got 2 trellises. We decided to grow them up instead of vertical. Wait, no, that's horizontal, right? Horizontal's flat.
I can't
like
remember.
The horizon is flat.
Oh yeah.
Right, like the sun. You're welcome. We've got a 30 by 50 garden, which is really big for us. It's really not that big, so we wanted to make sure we utilize as much space as possible. So with these cucumbers, we got these cattle panel trellises. We've got about 8 feet long by about 6.5 feet tall or so, and they're doing pretty good. One of the things we wanted to grow a lot of this year was cucumber pickles. That whole thing there is cucumber pickles. In here, these front ones, you can actually see the leaves are just a little bit bigger. These are straight 8s. These are the big cucumbers. And then that back trellis are the pickling cucumbers. And I want to show you guys real quick. That's a little big for a pickling cucumber. We probably should have already harvested that, but man, these suckers grow fast. You can see some little ones here. That's not a bad sized one right there. There's a real good sized pickler right there. We got little fruit all over. It's doing really good. That's a big straight 8. Those are great cucumbers. If you guys have never grown them, I highly suggest them. Anytime you want to grow something vertical, whether it's peppers, cucumbers, tomatoes, anything that goes up, keep the bottom 6 to 12 inches free. It gives less resources for bugs and critters of the ground to climb up and eat them. Helps with airflow around the base of the plant, which makes them less prone to disease. So it's a win-win situation. Guys, that's one day's harvest. I'd say that's pretty good. Overall, I'd say cucumbers, thumbs up. I think we did really good on those, and we're gonna get a lot of cucumbers this season. Number 2, peppers. What we did, we use these T-posts, this twine here, and we Florida weaved our peppers. And I tell you what, guys, the peppers look great this year. I wanted to mostly do jalapeno for canning and doing salsa and stuff like that, but man, we had a hard time finding healthy pepper plants this year, and we started too late in the season to start our own. So all of these were started from seedlings, unfortunately, and we got some good looking pepper plants. Tabasco, New Mexico here. It's a good looking pepper, see that? Sweet banana peppers down there. This is, I think, another New Mexico. Yeah, it's a big New Mexico plant there. So we've got giant Marconi here. They look great. Little bell there. Giant Marconi. Poblanos in there. And over here, these guys were planted pretty late in the season, and there's not really a lot of growth on them yet, but it's gonna happen. These are all bell peppers here. This big old mess is watermelon. We've got 2 different breeds of watermelon, cantaloupe right here. So this is our melon patch. On the melon patch, I think it's doing pretty good. We've got some sugar baby watermelons growing in here. As you guys might be able to tell, gophers like them too, apparently. So they're taking their tax. There's one right there. There's a little sugar baby watermelon. They don't get very big, but man, they're good. They're packed full of flavor. And then on this other watermelon, these other kinds over here, there's a good looking one right there. Yeah, that's not bad at all. Look, there's one, guys. There's a watermelon coming up right there. They're pretty hard to find in here, but once they get bigger, obviously they're easier to see. But yeah, so far the crop is looking great. Y'all let me know if I'm supposed to be trimming these, because it's pretty wild. And honestly, I didn't take any time at all to learn whether or not I should be trimming watermelons. So I'm gonna let them do their thing and let nature have its way with it. And we'll see what happens. So overall, thumbs up on the watermelon patch. Next over here, we got a 6-foot trellis and 1, 2, 3 thornless blackberry plants, and I've just been kind of guiding them through and kind of weaving them. I should probably tie them up, but man, I had no idea how slow blackberry plants grow, but they are growing dog slow, but they're alive. That's what matters, and they're healthy. So we're not going to get any blackberries this year. I don't see that happening, but next year I'm coming for you. I had a few extra pepper plants, aren't even supported. I just threw them in the ground because why not? Blueberry plant. So far this side, not bad. Now, let's get real. You see that? You see those sad little, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's my strawberry patch. They did not grow well, y'all. I went through 2 different rounds of planting roots for strawberries, and first time around, completely did it wrong. Didn't read the directions. I didn't trim them, I didn't soak them in water, nothing like that. Threw them in the ground. None of them survived, none. So that was brutal. Bought some more, burpee.com, love you guys. They provided us some really healthy looking strawberry roots. Got them replanted. Cut them to 3 inches first, soaked them, replanted them. Didn't water them enough. Yeah, they died. It also could have been a combination of lack of water and shallow planting, because as you guys know, we're doing the no dig method this year, and this area right here is honestly a little thin. So the material kind of got moved around. I didn't measure it all. It's a little thin right there, so it could also be that those roots just didn't have enough place to grow. But that's a big lessons learned for us. Strawberries, definitely a thumbs down this year for us. This is kind of what's left of our herbs. I failed at them big time this year. We tried to plant a few things, they all died. Cilantro, parsley, things like that. We've got some Italian and I think it's Greek. No, I got it backwards. Italian, Greek, rosemary over there. Actually looks pretty good. Mint, man, this stuff is awesome. I love mint. That's mint. That's what's left of the cilantro, y'all. This was all cilantro right here first, and it all died. This doesn't look too hot, but it's starting to get really hot. Cilantro does not like the heat very much. And then this is what's left of the basil. So this is just, I think this is mammoth basil. I think this is mammoth basil is the breed here. It's supposed to get really big, but I keep topping it off because I don't want it to stop growing. Not so hot on the herbs this year. Let's come back over here. Okay. Okra. So all the way through here, that's okra. That's about 20 some odd okra plants. This is succession planting. So these are a little bit older than these, as you can see, and these actually are really young because those didn't make it, so I replanted them. Hopefully we'll have okra growing for a while. And these things are getting big, so that one's already a little bit big. There's some huge ones down there. Y'all, I can't believe how fast okra grows. You got to really stay on top of harvesting it, or otherwise they'll get really long and really woody. You know, if you guys don't know, you don't want to eat okra if it's more than probably about 4 inches long or so. It doesn't taste near as good. A lot of times it's really chewy and tough to eat. But man, you got to stay on top of it. Yeah, I'm hoping to have a whole bunch of okra come out at one time because we want to pickle some okra. We love pickled okra. Y'all tell me how you guys like to eat okra down in the comments. I know some people love it, some people hate it, but I like okra. So okra so far is doing good. Y'all, this is how you teach your boys how to back up to trailers and move trailers and stuff like that. That's Devin there in the truck. Mason's over there guiding him. I got him hooking up to the boat. We got some work we need to do on that bad boy to get it summer ready. We've been kind of slacking on that this year. And we need to mow underneath it. So they're gonna hook it up, move it around, mow, all that good stuff. We're gonna get that baby cleaned up. But make them boys do it. That's how you learn. All right, so next I wanna show you guys right here. So all of this is a Florida weave plot. Peppers here, cherry tomatoes here, 2 rows of what should be indeterminate, but I actually got some determinate Rutgers here, and then all determinate back there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows by about 20 feet of tomatoes. Whole idea was I wanted to do a ton of tomatoes, mostly ones that were really good for canning so that we could make salsa, put up stuff for like tomato sauce, spaghetti sauce, all that good stuff. And they were doing really good until about a week ago. We had one huge storm come through. We had 60+ mile-an-hour winds. It downpoured in this garden, and we lost a bunch of stuff, and everything got really sad in the garden. So I came through. A lot of these plants were drooped over. Some of the lines actually busted. Not a lot of them though. It's surprisingly held up pretty well, this Florida weave. But if you look right here, you can look at these cherry tomatoes. I mean, there's a lot of fruit on here. So they're still alive, but they don't look near as good as they did. There's a lot of this dead vegetation on here. All this happened after that big storm. These were all really pretty and lush and green, but that's just how it happens sometimes. It's nature. So we've already got a decent amount of tomatoes out of here. We've had some cherries, we've had some of the black Krim, we've got San Marzano, Rutgers, several different types of Roma tomatoes, and then Sun Gold, cherries, and super sweets. We've already had a decent amount, and as you guys can see, if they actually ripen up, we've got quite a bit in here. There's one right there. Man, it's good. And we've got some down here too, look. Yeah, they're still making it, even if the plants look a little bit rough. We're gonna put some fertilizer on these guys, and we're just gonna keep up the water. They're recovering, they're coming back, but man, they were beautiful. I should have videoed it for you guys a week ago. But I want to show you the rest of these tomatoes. So we've got all these cherries here. So what I intended to do was do indeterminate tomatoes here and determinate ones back there. And I wanted to try this out. I've never seen a Florida weave done on determinate tomatoes, and I was like, well, if it can be done on indeterminate, surely it's gonna work just fine. You just don't have to string them up as high. And as you guys can see, it's not bad. I like it. I think it's actually a really good method to support them. We've got a lot of growth in here, and there's plenty of tomatoes all throughout, and most of them look pretty healthy. Same thing like I was telling you guys earlier with the cucumbers. See the bottoms, we keep the bottoms trimmed. You notice there's no leaves. We just trimmed everything nice and clean about this far down. That's about 12 inches, and it really helps with airflow to help keep a healthy plant. You wouldn't be able to tell, but based on this recent storm we had, but they're coming back. So that's all the tomatoes. So far, I'm pretty happy with how they're going. They could have been better, but you know, Mother Nature, it happens. Next, potatoes. So y'all, I don't know what happened with the potatoes. I think maybe they weren't deep enough. Again, we're new to this. Y'all be nice in the comments. We didn't have, I don't think they were deep enough. And then I hilled them after a little while, after they got about 12 to 14 inches tall. I hilled them. You can see, like, it looks like there's a ditch right here. I just dug up and I hilled them all. But we understand that you're supposed to wait till these things start to die off, give it a little bit, start digging around. I haven't seen a single potato. See, look, I dug out of there. I found one that was like that big. It's like the size of an eyeball. So I don't know what happened to the potatoes. You guys tell me what you think. Is it just because I didn't put them deep enough? That's your fault.
My fault. You planted the potatoes.
Yeah, I did. So I don't know what happened with the potatoes, but that was a no-go for us this year. The plants look pretty. They grew fine until they started dying. These were all lush and pretty. So guys, drop down below if you can. Let us know what happened. Carrots. I was really excited to plant carrots this year, y'all. And again, we're new at this. Y'all be nice. I sprinkled out carrot seeds. As you guys know, they're really tiny. And I've since learned you can buy carrot tape, which I'm gonna do next year. And then I've seen some other processes and practices, because I thought, well, can't be that bad. Throw the seeds down. You can always thin them out later. Y'all, it is a nightmare to trim carrots. Do not do it. Don't do it. So here's what we got. We've got, I mean, they look okay. We'll see if they actually grow. And kind of thicker over there. Gopher decided to help himself to an entire plot right here. Apparently gophers like carrots too. And then these were just kind of weak here, but you know, they're thinned out. But I don't know. Here, let's just for good measure, this one doesn't look very healthy. Let's try this one here. Let's see what happens here. There's a tiny little carrot. Look at that, y'all. Isn't that cute? That's a tiny little carrot. It is growing though. I'm gonna see if I can get it back in the ground. So they're not ready yet, but we do have carrots. So that's yet to be determined. All right, next, bush beans. These are Blue Lake bush beans. A friend of mine highly recommended them, said that they did really good down here in our climate. And they were looking awesome until that storm rolled through a week ago. These were lush and green, y'all. This was just solid green. That massive windstorm and flooding just wrecked the beans. Thankfully, we were able to still harvest quite a bit, so we still got a decent amount of beans off of here. If you guys look, you'll see some that we missed. Like here's one right there. That one looks all right. Something I learned about bush beans, if you guys have never grown them, is they're kind of hard to harvest. It's really easy to miss them. You move up the plants. Maybe if you didn't do a higher density gardening, but if you lift up the plant, you can kind of see them. They kind of blend in. So there's one right there. Try it out. Oh, that one's got I don't want to eat the bug. Very good flavor. And they're not stringy either. I don't know if all Blue Lakes are like that or not, or maybe you just don't let them get that big, but these aren't stringy. They're very good. So we're still harvesting off of them. Some of them are still producing, but yeah, they look pretty rough. They look very rough. It's like a kind of thumbs up, kind of thumbs down. They were doing awesome. Storm wrecked us on that one. Same thing with the pole beans. So if you guys look over here, we decided to do trellises with the pole beans. So we had some Kentucky Wonders growing over here, and I was pretty excited about them. Look at them now. Just some kind of combination of being overwatered and high winds and stuff. I don't know. What I'm thinking about doing is just cutting all these that have got so much damage and then going ahead and planting some more. So pole beans, not sure. This whole trellis right here, y'all, was going to be peas. And so I got some peas right here. That's literally the only one that survived, and it's growing the slowest that I've ever seen anything grow ever in my entire life. I don't think we're ever gonna have peas, and I have no idea why, but I don't think I'm gonna try that again this year. Maybe it's our Texas climate. Y'all let me know. What I did is I filled in some of these extra spaces. I just plopped some more Kentucky Wonder beans in the ground, so that's what these are. If you guys have never had pickled green beans, y'all are messing up. You're missing out. They're really, really good. It's easy to make, and man, they're tasty. Even people who don't like green beans usually like our pickled green beans. Y'all try it out if you haven't. All right, next we've got squash and zucchini. It's supposed to be squash here, zucchini there. Some of them got kind of mixed up. This is actually a zucchini plant, but we're growing them vertically, y'all, up. Like I said, I like to grow things up. It saves space. As you guys know, if you ever grow squash and zucchini, they take up a ton of room. So I did a bunch of research, and I found out you can buy these poles right here. These are 10-foot pieces of EMT that we cut in half, so they're 5-foot pieces. We hammered them in the ground about a foot, however long needed to get some good stability, and then we shoved them in next to our plants. Here's a really good example, y'all. So it needs to be trimmed already on the bottom some more, but look at this. We've got some good squash growing here, and just really loosely tied, just enough to encourage it to grow up. Then I come in and I just trim the excess leaves. Anything that's on the bottom that's gonna touch the ground, I lop it off, I cut it right up close to the plant. So anyway, I wanted to show you guys this because this is a really great method. Here's one plant, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 squash, 5, and a whole bunch more on the way. They're already coming up. This is just one plant, and it's all contained right here within about a 24-inch space growing up. If this was on the ground and I wasn't doing the stakes, this thing would take up 4 or 5 feet across. I mean, it takes up a ton of space. So that's the way to go. So I'm gonna call squash and zucchini a success so far this year. Last but not least, y'all, corn. I wanted to try 2 different methods this year. I wanted to do rows and the hill method. Rows are pretty self-explanatory. If you guys aren't familiar with the hill method, basically you cluster a bunch of corn together in close proximity, and I'll show you an example like this. This is a cluster. You can kind of see it's round there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There was like 9 right here in this little bitty circle. And if you look up, down, you'll see it's just a big circle of corn. You can fit that in a really small place. And it's really important when you're growing corn because they have to pollinate each other. They have to pollinate themselves, they have to pollinate each other. Those little tassels on top shake that pollen down on all those little fibers coming out of that corn ear. And if you don't get good pollination, corn's not gonna grow, it's not gonna look very good, whatever. So anyway, 2 different methods. Row method, we had, say, about 80-something% germination here. We definitely learned some lessons there on this. So this was our first crop here. This is some kind of super sweet G90 corn that we've never heard of before, but we saw some seedlings on sale and they're practically giving them away, so we thought, why not? We'll try it out. So that was the first crop. Crop number 2 are the hills over here. Crop number 3 are these rows here. Crop number 4 are these rows here that are falling over thanks to that storm that came through. They didn't quite break over, but they're real weak. So I've been coming back and mounding them up a little bit, throwing some little stakes in between them to get them to kind of grow upright. As long as they stay alive, it's salvageable, y'all. Most of this got blown over in that really big storm, but I was able to really gently correct it, and a lot of it will correct itself if you give it about a day. Give it a couple of days, and if it's still laying over at a 45 degree, whatever, gently straighten it up, pack some dirt around it, put some stakes next to it if you have to, and you'd be surprised. You'll be surprised that you can recover that corn. Anyway, so we got 4 different succession planting here with the corn. This over here is the first one that's done. I noticed that these ears aren't very big. and I don't know if it's a lack of nutrition, because again, it's our first year doing corn. I don't know if it's a lack of nutrition or not, but if you guys look right here, that one didn't even look like it's gonna make it. You guys don't know to tell when corn is done. You can kind of feel it. But when these little tassels, whatever you want to call them, when the silk starts to die and turn brown, it's usually ready. And if you're not sure, just really gently peel back a little bit, poke you a little hole in there. You can pop a corn kernel with your finger and see. But like this corn here is not ready. You see? It's close, but it's not ready. So we can gently cover that back up and give it a little bit longer. Like I said, these didn't get very big at all, but we already tried one the other day. As you can see, when this happens, it's either because something ate it or it didn't pollinate very well. I think something ate this one. But the rest of these kernels, man, that looks really good. And y'all, this is some of the sweetest corn I've ever tried. So this is that G90. Second crop over there is Nirvana. And this is some sort of sweet golden bantam. This is bantam too down here that I gotta fix. But that's kind of all the different varieties of corn that we had. Wow. Y'all, that is very, very good corn. You don't have to cook this, you don't have to butter it. You literally eat it right off the plant. Ears on this Nirvana so far are pretty skinny. We've got some ears coming up here. I think they just haven't matured yet, but I think they're gonna be decent sized ears on this other breed of corn. I'm gonna give a big corny thumbs up on the corn crop this year. Considering that we're all organic here, we haven't put any insecticide on anything. There's not a single chemical that's touched any one of these plants. We've only fertilized a few times. We've only used organic fertilizer, so I'd say it's doing pretty good, all things considered. As you guys know from the beginning of the season, like I told you guys, this is a complete learning experience for us. We decided we were just gonna go all in. We were gonna plant a bunch of stuff and just kind of learn, wing it. A lot of you guys have given us really good tips. I really appreciate it. It's been a really cool experience, and just to get any food at all for our family, I'm really grateful. If you guys have any tips and tricks and suggestions, drop them down below. I'd really appreciate it. Give me some opinions on some of these growing methods. Let me know what y'all think. You like the Florida weave? You like the trellis method for the cucumbers? You like the vertical planting on the squash and the zucchini? Have you tried those before? You guys let me know. Let me know if you've had better success with those methods or some other methods. I'll try to keep you guys updated, but until next time, we love you guys. God bless.